He's dead. What did you do, Betty?
What the fuck did you do, Betty Cooper? What did you do? Yeah, so the clip that first played before this video was, you know, Betty, apparently the one who killed Jughead. And yeah, it doesn't look good considering her hands are covered in blood along with a rock covered in blood. That looks like the exact rock that she used to kill Caramel. Just saying. Did anyone else notice that? Like that rock that she was holding in her hand that killed Jughead? Because do we know if he's dead or not for sure? It looked exactly like the rock that she was going to use like when she was a kid to kill Caramel. Or maybe I'm just seeing things. I don't know. It looked like the exact same rock. Because I was thinking, watch it be. Because once I saw the head trauma, like it's serious head trauma, you can tell. Once I saw that, I was like, oh my God, what if... You know, because obviously my first thing is it's Brett and Donna, or it's the Quills and Skull Society, you know, the four of them, or it's just Brett and Donna. Because the other two, I tend to forget their names because they're just not really that important. They show up at different times, and I just, you know, they're not someone I like enough to remember their names. I don't know, Frank and something, I don't even remember. I wrote it down, but I don't want to look. You know what? Because I don't care. Because I don't trust any of them. But anyways, yeah, so... I was expecting, like, whatever hit him over the head. My first thought was, what if it was the rock that Jughead used to smash in the skull so that he could be initiated into the Quill and Skull Society? And then it turns out, well, it's Betty holding the rock with blood in her hands and on the rock. And the rock looks similar to the one she used to kill her cat Caramel when she was a kid. So, I'm just saying that's a little weird. That is weird because, like, unless there's a bunch of those rocks lying around, I don't know. It just looks so similar to the one she used to kill her cat that it was like, could this really be real? So, okay. So now that I have that intro, now that I started that, let me get into my intro. Hi, hello, welcome to the show. We're here at Shroot Farms, yes, living. Got this in a boys section. Like, hello, girls love this too, dude. But, yeah, so, not wearing a hoodie, surprise, surprise. But yeah, so, I wanted to, also... Yeah, hi, hello, welcome to the show. I don't know, I'm trying new things out, you know, besides greetings, Earthlings, welcome to Planet and Alien. Although, I am still very much into aliens, still very much believe them. That's not ending anytime soon. Tim, bunch of Tims, you know. But I am trying to switch things up. But when you enter my channel, you are on another planet, and that is an alien. So, welcome to Planet and Alien. Let's get into this video. Why did I, I went like this. Let's get into this video. I don't even know. Anyways, so I didn't make my review of episode 9, which is why I included that clip first, and then my whole, what the fuck, Betty Cooper. Because, let's just get it started on a high note, shall we? Shall we? Yes, we shall. Okay. Let me take off my shoes. Let me get a cup of my coffee. I'm going to try and trim this down so it's not super long. Okay, because there's actually quite a lot I want to talk about. So, I asked questions on Twitter, so I'm going to answer those. I wrote down a list for, like, one of the questions. But first, I want to get into some things from 409 that are really important to me. Like I say, I write down everything, especially if I don't make the video right after. I want to remember the tiniest details so that I can put them in my video. So, I circled the ones out of all my notes that I want to talk about. And the first thing I want to talk about is DuPont. You know, he gave the Baxter Brothers to the franchise to Jughead Jones, which to me is still very odd. I'm not saying he doesn't deserve it, but there's just something about this whole situation that doesn't sit right to me, especially when you're putting your name to a paper and you don't really know what that paper entails. I mean, you think, oh, I'm going to be the next Baxter Brothers writer of the franchise, but who knows what he really signed? Like, I don't know. I don't know. It just doesn't feel right to me. Maybe it's just how it is. You know, he really is getting to be the next Baxter Brothers writer or whatever, but it just seems odd to me. I don't know. I just don't feel right about that situation. It doesn't seem as great as they're making it to seem, you know? especially with what happens to Jughead during spring break, because we don't really know for sure if it was Betty or not. So yeah, I just don't trust that. But one of the things he said, he was like, your first step into a larger, better life, provided by you play by the rules. Play by what rules, dude? What rules? What rules are there to the Baxter Brothers? Like, I don't understand. Like, I get it. Like, people know, like, there's ghost right. Like, people know that you're going to obviously switch this. They're obviously going to be able to tell that whoever's writing these new Baxter Brothers is not him, considering it also is going to have Jughead's name attached to it, I would hope. So, like, play by what rules is that? Like, I don't know. Like, I'm not saying it's anything sinister, but when he said it, provided you play by the rules, like, so basically just do whatever they say and don't go against it. Because, like, what rules are there, really? I think he's just hinting at you need to fucking stop looking for the truth. You need to stop being an investigator. You need to keep your mouth shut, and you'll be fine, basically. I don't know. I just read into things a little more because it's Stonewall Prep. I don't trust these people. I'm sorry. I don't trust them. Don't trust them. I'll get more into it as we go because there's a lot I want to say. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about, Jughead called Charles Chuck, and at first when I heard him say Chuck, I was like, wait, did I hear this right? So I went back and rewatched it, and he did in fact say Chuck, and I was like, why is he saying Chuck? Like, that's so weird. He says Charles every other time, and then all of a sudden it's like Chuck. Nothing against it. It was just weird to hear him call Charles Chuck. Because, like, where did that come from? And he's never said it once before or once after. That was, like, the only time he ever said it. So I was like, wait, Chuck? What the fuck? But I guess, I don't know. I guess that's just something he calls him sometimes. I don't know. It was just weird when I heard him say it. Because I was like, I'm hearing it wrong, right? There's no way I'm hearing Chuck. It's like, okay. All right. Next one I want to talk about is Hypnotized. Okay. So, we all found out where Evelyn Evernever is. She's in prison, which I'm happy. Like, I did not know exactly what happened to her after Betty knocked her over the head. So, to find out she's in prison makes me a lot happier. However, this bitch is fucking crazy. I mean, psychotically, mentally, just totally in another world fucking crazy. I swear this girl's like fucking just mind fucked. Like, she is full on gone in the head. She is just farm, Edgar, which I understand. She's been with him for God knows how long. She's been partners with him for God knows how long, pretending to be a high school student at 20-something years old. Like, fucking weirdo. No. But, yeah, so basically, we found out, I don't know how they said this, Shanksaw Prison. I don't know. I was trying to remember how he said it, but it's such a weird name. I was like in Shawshank, but like he said it in a different way. So I was like, okay. But she's in that prison. Now, the only thing, I love her being in prison. I love her being punished. But, like Edgar, she has that influence over people. She's able to get them to do what she wants. She's able to get into their mind and twist and turn until she gets them on her side, which is so fucking scary. It's fucking scary, considering she can hypnotize people. With literally saying one word 3 times. Tangerine, tangerine, tangerine. Which, you know what? I actually want to search this word and what exactly does it mean. So I'll be right fucking back. Okay, so I was just looking up different definitions for tangerine, and basically they all just came back to the same thing, except maybe a little different, but nothing that really applied to why it was used against Betty. However, this one, the definition for tangerine, is a small citrus fruit with loose skin, especially one of a variety with deep orange-red skin. So my thought is, it's orange on the outside, but as you open it, it's orange-red. It's deep orange-red inside. So maybe tangerine in the sense of why they used it. I'm not saying why, but I'm saying maybe in the sense of why they used it. The only way I could think is that tangerine, because on the outside, Betty projects this, no dark Betty. She tries to be just normal Betty. She doesn't let her dark Betty come out. And when it does, she tries to put an end to it because she doesn't want to get back into that. Now, I think what Tangerine is that there's a hidden part within her. It's like an onion. There's a bunch of layers to get to the core of someone, you know? And I think why they use the word Tangerine is because on the outside, you know, that's Betty, but on the inside, it's dark Betty. So by peeling away at the citrus, you could say, at the orange, you could say, the more you peel away, the darker it gets inside. So, like, that's kind of my interpretation. I'm not saying it's the way it went, but, like, I don't know. That's the only thing I could think of to put with it. Because I was just wondering why that. And I guess I could see it, you know. On the outside, it might be, like, colorful. On the inside, it's dark. And so... yeah. Oh, wait. Let me pause it again because I did not get my... I wanted to pull my questions up before I get on to everything else. Okay, so yeah, Evelyn can, like I said, hypnotize people through the phone by literally saying one word 3 times. So that's fucking crazy. I mean, literally, that's fucking crazy that she can do that. And what it is she hypnotizes them not to per se kill Betty, but to become Betty and try and kill dark Betty. Therefore, going at the real Betty, trying to kill the dark inside her. But in fact, they would just be killing her altogether. So that's so crazy to me that Evelyn made them become Betty in that hypnotized state, and that they weren't trying to kill Betty per se, they were trying to kill dark Betty, and she is dark Betty to them in their hypnotized state, so therefore they were trying to kill the actual Betty, which was mind-boggling crazy. I mean, Evelyn is just fucking psycho nuts. Like, she's just beyond crazy. Like, I can't believe even in prison she has this much power. Like, what the fuck? Like, oh my god, she has this much power. Hiram gets to go to a prison he owns and gets special treatment and then gets to leave when he wants and gets out when he wants. And then, like, the Evelyn thing, you have her with all these fucking followers now, apparently. Ooh, excuse me. And then you have a chick in prison who's visited by his lover, Charles, which is something I also want to bring up. Why is it that Charles... okay, like, I don't understand this. So, Evelyn can hypnotize Betty. That's obvious. You know, she could hypnotize anyone she wanted because she's, like, the main person. But she was saying about, Evelyn was talking about the people in the prison that she's got to, you know, under her wing, basically. You know, she got to have those people who can do what she wants. So I was thinking, how is Charles able to hypnotize Betty? Like, that's one thing. Every time Betty tried being hypnotized, it was with Charles, except for the last time. But the first 2 times, it was both with Charles. And it just boggles my mind how Charles is able to hypnotize her. Because I feel like if Archie said to Betty 3 times, Tangerine, I don't feel like it would do anything. So why is it Charles is able to use that word 3 times and somehow be able to hypnotize Betty? Like, aren't you supposed to, like... I don't know, be like mind warped by fucking Evelyn to really be able to do that. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me how Charles is able to hypnotize Betty. It just doesn't make sense to me at all. Like, I don't understand how he's able to do that. I understand he's an FBI agent, but that doesn't mean he knows how to hypnotize people. So I'm just curious as to how him hypnotizing Betty worked, because I don't think if anybody else tried, like Alice or Archie, you know, or Jughead, I don't really think anything would come out of it, you know? It's just weird that for Charles, it worked, you know? But as we saw at the end, well, Dark Betty's still here. So either she didn't stop what happened in the past, or when she killed her cat Caramel in the past, that's not when Dark Betty was born. Maybe Dark Betty has always been a part of her, and over the years, especially after having to kill her cat, it's just come out more and more, but she's tried to push it deep down inside that it's gotten worse, to the point of, you see how she was with Chuck, you know, kind of lost it for a bit, thought she was Polly, thought he was Jason, you know, you've seen her doing the webcam thing in her in her Dark Betty outfit. You've seen her using it for sexual things, which, if her Dark Betty is a mental disorder, or like, yeah, something to do with like mental problems, then I don't really think using it for a sexual purpose is the best idea. But, you know, that's water under the bridge. That was what, like season 2, I think? Yeah, season 2, I believe. So it's water under the bridge. But anyways, moving on. Okay. So Penelope was hiding in the house. Like, I for sure thought like it had to be Tony, because I was like, there's no way it's Nana Rose. I was like, oh, maybe Penelope's like hiding on the walls. But I wasn't really thinking she was. I mean, it wasn't far off, but like, I wasn't really putting too much into she's in the walls. So I was thinking, oh, it's Tony, because, you know, Tony to me had a motive. She wants to get out of this fucking house. She wants to get Cheryl away from all this pain and suffering and just darkness. And so that's why I thought for sure it was Tony. But lo and behold, Penelope was the one behind it, because of course she was in the walls. If that's not creepy enough, wow, Penelope, you've hit the bottom of the barrel, haven't you? Hiding in the walls of your own fucking house that you're not welcome in. You're not welcome in. And I do get where she's coming from when she said, you know, I see you with Jason and all that, and how she doesn't think that's fair that she gets to, you know, have Jason around and get to pretend like he's still there and everything, and she doesn't get to do that, and it's her son. Like, I understood that. Seeing your daughter with your son's dead body, talking to it like it's talking to you, treating it like a part of the family, like it's actually, not saying like it's not, but like it's actually a real person instead of a dead body, you know? Like, I get where Penelope was coming from. I mean, she lost her son. I mean, her husband killed her son. She lost her son. And so, I mean, to see him dead and Cheryl getting to spend time with him and talk with him, I'm sure is not easy to see. But yeah, that was like the only thing like I understood where she was coming from. But other than that, you need to suffer, bitch. Because like Cheryl, she even referred to Archie and Betty and Veronica as her friends. Like, they're all friends, guys. Like, you know, let's not forget Archie saved Cheryl at the end of season 1. Let's not forget that. Because I see a lot of people, oh, Cheryl does so much for her friends. You know, she's always there. She's always, you know, defending them, which isn't always true. I mean, she does, but not all the time. And then and some people were like, oh yeah, in the core 4, they don't give a shit about her. They don't do anything for her. And it's like, that's not true. Like, they are there for her still. I mean, Veronica and the Pussycats stopped Cheryl from getting raped. Archie saved her from dying. I mean, they've done a lot. Like, that's one thing I hated seeing, like, on my Twitter, like, people saying, oh, Cheryl does so much for them and they could give a shit less about her. And I don't think that's true. At the end of the day, I think if Cheryl needed them, they would come through. Just like at the end of the day, if they needed Cheryl, she would come through. And I mean, if you look at season 1 to now, look at the development between this group. I mean, when you look at the core 4 at the beginning and Cheryl, and then look at them now, I mean, it's developed into something so much better, to the point where she refers to them as her friends, and is actually putting her mom on trial, saying, well, you tried to kill my friends, Archie, Betty, and Veronica, so, and then you killed Betty's dad, so, you know, so yeah. I just didn't like seeing that, because I feel like they all are there for each other, you know? But you also got to remember, everyone's dealing with their own shit. Like, everyone. And at least with Cheryl, she has Tony. Let me make sure what else I got. Okay. Penelope in the bunker. Of course, Jughead found his grandfather, and then he was gone when he came back, which I felt for FP, because FP was like, you know, he didn't want to say it, but he was secretly hoping he would really show up, and you could see how disappointed he was when Jughead came in, and he could tell he wasn't coming, and I was like, like, damn, this guy fucking moved quick. Like, what the fuck? Like, okay, I get it. Jughead found him. He probably, you know, needs to leave now. He doesn't want anyone else to find him. Because I guess if Jughead found him, my thought is, okay, Jughead found him, now he has to leave because he doesn't want to be a part of the family. He thinks they're better off without him, whatever the case might be. As soon as Jughead showed up and he left, I think in his mind it was like time to go. And he went quick. I mean, he got everything and left. But also, maybe by Jughead finding him, he was nervous others would be able to find him. DuPont. And therefore, that's why he left so quick. I'm just saying, that's not, I mean, that could be a possibility, not really. I don't know if it is. I don't think it is. Because, I mean, he said DuPont didn't steal from him. He gave it to him for $5,000, even though it's worth millions now. But still, it's just like, I figure it is because Jughead found out where he was, and he knew he had to leave to make sure they didn't find him again. But it's like, dude, like, you have a second chance. But maybe there's something more sinister. I don't know. It was just weird. I mean, it probably is just because Jughead found him and he needed to leave. But at the end of the day, it's still like, could there be something more? Okay, another thing I want to talk about. So Archie was saying, when will this end? When will this end? Because, you know, he's talking to his mom. And my first thought was, it's Riverdale. Nothing ever ends. It's like when Tony said at the beginning of the season, like, I feel like someone's always watching me. They are. They all are always watching you, which you later find out by the VHS tapes of the Watcher, who's getting closer and closer to the fucking houses. Pretty soon it's going to be inside the house. I'm just saying. Okay, and then anger and pain can do a lot to a person. And I 100% agree. I mean, you got to think, Archie is filled with so much pain from losing his dad, along with anger from losing his dad, along with anger from trying so hard to make the community center a safe place and to protect these kids, that, you know, his idea of it's like he's trying so hard to make sure everything is safe and everything is good and people feel protected and they're not being roped into doing drugs as a young kid and all this stuff, and they have a place to feel safe. But at the end of the day, there's always obstacles in his way. And it's like, I think with the anger and the pain and just not knowing what to do with it, it's like, and then also doing this community center and seeing what these kids are dealing with Dodger, it just explodes, and he puts on the mask and he unleashes it, you know? And I mean, damn, he got pretty close to killing Dodger, to the point where Dodger's mom was like, stop it, you're gonna kill him. And yeah. So, needless to say, don't mess with Archie fucking Andrews, because even without the mask, he will kill you. And Dodger is the one who's like, we're gonna do this old style or whatever, like, you know, no weapons, and then bitch come out with a fucking knife and shit, and I'm like, are you that scared of a fucking 17-year-old kid? Really? How old are you? And I mean, come on, you're a big dude, and you're literally fighting this kid, and you decide to take out a knife? Oh, well, it didn't work, because you ended up almost getting the shit beat out of you. You're lucky your mommy stepped in. Ugh. Thank God. Hopefully they stay away, but you know what? It's Riverdale, and these people aren't the greatest, so I don't really see them staying away. Not to mention, they shot a cop. But, I mean, FP was more worried of them just getting out of town and Archie not doing anything. But Archie wasn't going to stand for that, because you literally just shot FP. So, that's not fucking happening. And I mean, FP in that serpent jacket. Oh, my lord, dude. Oof. Yes. Or Jughead. I don't know. Something about a leather jacket on a guy. Just, and a serpent one and a serpent one, like, wait, what's the word I'm looking for? And the serpent, I don't know. Anyways, a leather jacket I love on a guy, especially a serpent one. It's just so cute. I don't know, I just love when they put on their serpent jackets. It's like the hottest thing ever. Anyways, moving on. So, okay. Now, this is, another thing. Archie's never felt farther from his father than he does now, is something he said. And I get that. Right now, Archie is just dealing with his father's death, is dealing with this anger inside, dealing with the pain, dealing with the fact that his dad, who's such a good guy, who was just helping someone, died, and yet all these bad people in Riverdale are still fucking alive and getting to do all this evil shit, and it's just not fair to him. And I totally agree with that. It's not fucking fair that, you know, that happens, you know. But I think that's a big thing, you know. It's like Archie's trying so hard to do what he thinks his father would want him to do. And he's trying so hard to make his father proud. But he's also losing sight of himself and what he's doing to try and make his dad proud, at least from his inside his head, you know what I mean? Like, in his head, he feels like he's just not the person his dad would want him to be. He wants to make his dad proud. He wants to work to be a better person. But also at the same time, he's dealing with a lot of, you know, personal issues and also a lot of professional ones with the community center. And it just gets overwhelming at times. And, you know, with all shit going on, it's not like he has a ton of time to process his dad's death. And it's not going to just go away over a month or a couple months, you know? That's something you deal with for the rest of your life. It's just figuring a way to get that anger under control and try and, you know, maybe channel it into something better and not going out at night and risking your life. But when he said, I've never felt farther from my father than I do now, I was like, Archie. It's like, you're going to get through this, Archie. You're going to get through this. You're going to get through this. You can do this. You are doing good things. Like FP even said, he's doing great things here at the community center. And that's what he needs to focus on. And of course, FP helped him because you know what? If Hiram can be a mayor and a mob boss and all that shit, then FP can be a sheriff and a serpent. And well, he put on the serpent jacket and him and Archie kicked their asses. Like, oh my God. I love FP and Archie scenes. I love it. I love it so much. And then they were talking about Fred. I love it so much. Anyways, sorry. I'm trying to make this too long. It's going to be so long. Okay. Another thing I wanted to talk about is why did Mr. Chipping kill himself? Now, this is something that I'm still very confused about because if everything that Jughead thought is not the truth, then why did Mr. Chipping kill himself? Because I really don't think he was having an affair with Donna. I just don't think it. Because first off, why are Brett and Donna, because it was one of those two, most likely Brett because it is his room, why did they put a camera in the room with Betty and Jughead? And then, of course, they talked about going, you know, to the headmaster about all this stuff. And then next thing you know, oh, Donna's already with the headmaster and she already told him, and you see the crocodile tears and Brett all smug and shit. And it's like, if that was true, the affair, why are you guys filming them and trying to listen to what they're saying? If it's the truth, why do you care what they're saying or anything in the room? Like, I think that's the fucking weirdest shit. Like, that makes no sense to me. I really don't think Mr. Chipping had an affair with her. And if he did, they really did not make it realistic at all. Because I do not believe, ever since she said it, I have not believed it. There's not an ounce of me that believes they had an affair. Because there's just too much weird shit. I'm sorry, if this guy was so abusive and you were, like, you did not like him and he would not leave you alone, why yet would you still keep his pin? Really? Why would you still keep his pen, especially after he killed himself because of you, apparently? And yet you're still going to keep his pen? And then what about that letter that looked like a suicide note that Brett had that was worn and torn, like someone had found it, folded it up, looked at it a bunch of times, I'm sure with other people, and then folded it back up and put it away? Like, I want to know what that note's all about, too. Like, there's a lot of things that don't add up. Like, first off, is Mr. Chipping dead for sure? Because I know that they're saying he's dead, but, like, I haven't seen his dead. Like, this is one thing they say in Riverdale. Until you see someone actually die or until you see a dead body, they're not really dead in Riverdale. And I have yet to see Mr. Chipping's dead body. I still don't understand why his family didn't want to, like, investigate more into this suicide that came out of fucking nowhere. That mind boggles me. I guess they got some money out of it or something. Or maybe they tried to force the affair. They tried to say, oh, he had an affair with a student. It would look really bad if you investigate this and stuff. So it's better if you don't. Because, like, Mr. Chipping literally said, I'm sorry, Jughead, and jumped out the window. Had nothing to do with Donna. Nothing to do with anybody else. He said, I'm sorry, Jughead, and jumped out a window. Okay? So, it doesn't, I highly doubt that was because of a fucking affair. Because if that affair wasn't going to come to light, why would he jump out the window if he had nothing to worry about? So, obviously, there's something else to this. Either Mr. Chipping's still alive and he just faked it for Jughead, or he is actually dead. Because I have yet to see a dead body, or a fucking funeral, or anything, you know? So for me, I know he jumped out a window, and I know Jughead had to have seen him on the ground, you know, like, dead, or, you know, whatever he may have looked like. I mean, I'm sure he jumped pretty high. But I have yet to see a dead body. Like, I have yet to see anything proving that he is actually dead. So for me, I'm a little like, is he dead? Is he not dead? I don't know, you know? Because when we got, like, when they first introduced Mr. Chipping, you know, like when they were first talking about him before the show premiered, they were saying he's not going to be who you think he is. Like, he's not going to be like this good guy you think he is or whatever. And yet then he kills himself. And it's like, so where was the bad guy in all this? So that makes me think maybe he's not dead and maybe he's going to come back, and also not in a good way. Oh my God, imagine he's the one who kills Jughead. That would be crazy. Or he's locked up somewhere because, you know, they want him to keep the secrets. Because, like, I'm sorry, there's just no way he killed himself over an affair. Like, it just makes no sense. Why would you say, I'm sorry, Jughead? Like, it just makes no sense. Because clearly he talked to someone, guessing DuPont or the headmaster, and whatever they said made him jump out that window. So, unless it was all just a plan to make Jughead think, you know. I don't know. There's just, it's a lot of inconsistencies about things that just don't add up. I just don't understand why Mr. Chipping killed himself. Like I said, until I see a dead body, I'm not believing it. But that still gets me. Like, so what about Mr. Chipping? Why exactly did he say, I'm sorry, Jughead, and then jump out a fucking window? That's still something that, you know, you can't exactly, like, even though I know his grandfather told him the truth, which, is it the truth? No. I mean, it probably is the truth, but, like, even though he told him the truth, so to speak, I still don't understand why Mr. Chipping would kill himself and why he would say, I'm sorry to Jughead. Unless there's something more here that we're not seeing, meaning Mr. Chipping just did it to make Jughead think he's dead. I don't know, but I guess we'll see. Another thing I wrote out is the North Woods, because that's where Jughead had to go for the initiation, is the North Woods. And I'm also guessing that's where Jughead is killed, and I'm also guessing that's where they find Jughead's body. So, yes. Oh my God, Jason finally gone at peace. Can we all just, I don't know if this is just me, but how fucking weird was that scene of, I mean, first off, literally, I think this is the first time Betty, Jughead, and Veronica and Archie are actually seeing Jason's dead body in Cheryl's house and finding out that it's been there since the farm ended, which is just fucking crazy to me. But no, it's not even that. It's just like, it was so weird because, like, literally he's been dead for like fucking 3.5 years now, or 3 years now. And it's like, it was just such a weird moment. Like, I'm glad that he's finally at peace. He's finally gone. He's no longer in the house. Let him just be. Let him be at peace, you know, let him just be free. But at the same time, it was a really fucking weird scene to see. I'm sorry, it was weird. Like, I don't know. It was just a weird ass fucking scene. Okay, we got introduced to Fred's brother, which I have more to say about that. I got something. Okay. Like, I don't know how I'm going to shorten this. I'm trying to make this short, but I don't know how. Anyways, okay. So now, okay, so it went to 4 weeks later, and it showed Archie, Veronica, and Betty finding Jughead's unconscious body, which has a serious head wound. And let's see. So Jughead is dead, as we see. You have Archie saying, "What did you do, Betty?" And then it does not look good that she has blood on both her hands, along with in her right hand a rock covered in blood. Covered in blood. And now, if this is all just an act to make Brett and Don, or whoever is trying to kill Jughead, believe that he really is dead, these three are really doing a good job, because even Veronica was like looking at Betty like, what did she do? Like, literally everyone looks shook. So unless they're really good actors, for not saying TV show wise, but like, let's just say in like the actual Riverdale, if this was real and these were just three kids who stumbled upon their friend's dead body, you know, and if this was all like this, if this is a plan that they set in motion, they sure as hell looked fucking shook to death. So, I mean, maybe Brett and Donna were watching and they knew, but they played it so fucking realistic. Like, they literally were shook. Even Betty looked shook. It looked like she didn't remember what had happened, except now she has blood and a rock in her hand. That shows you something. Okay, now let's get into January 22nd real quick. So, we see in the episode 10, which comes out January 22nd, we first see Veronica hitting on Brett with her blonde wig at a Stallions pep rally. Then we see 4 people in bunny masks, one with a golf club outside the center. And then you have Mad Dog, you know, which 4 people in bunny masks. Where did we first see the bunny mask? Who were the people that first had the bunny mask? Oh yeah, Brett and Donna. You know, the ones who decided it'd be funny to, you know, stay home for Thanksgiving instead of go see our families so that they could scare Jughead with a real fucking axe. You're trying to scare someone with a real fucking axe? What if it fucking falls or something and you actually hurt him? Like, bitch, you were not trying to scare him. There was a lot more to this, but you just did not expect Betty to come out whooping your ass with a fucking golf club, bitch, or whatever she used. Like, a real axe? Like, come on. I just did not believe that. There was something much darker there they were trying to do. Because Donna was waiting around the corner, which is very suspicious to me. Anyone who's waiting around the corner already is suspicious to me. Because why didn't you just both approach him and scare him? Like, what, you thought he was gonna run past a guy with a fucking axe and a bunny mask and then run into you? Hell no, he's gonna run the other way, dude. Like, what was your plan in motion? Because I definitely was not to just scare him. Needless to say, so that's when we first saw the bunny mask. So now we have 4 people in bunny mask outside the community center for kids, which, why? Also, who are these people? Because I tried to see if I could figure out if they're guys or girls. Most of them looked like guys to me. I thought one kind of looked like a girl, but they're wearing such dark, heavy clothing that I can't tell the body shape really. Like the guys I can, because you know they're like big, broad shoulders and stuff. But like, I'm curious I'm curious if the people in the bunny mask are from the, you know, Quill and Skull Society, Brett, Don, and the other 2, again, don't care about their names. But then again, why are they outside the community center? And then again, what is their deal now? Like, what are they trying to accomplish now? Because as far as I'm concerned, Jughead is still alive. I mean, he's obviously in the preview. So what exactly is going on? Unless, like, other people got these bunny masks, which, what, now everyone can get them? I don't understand. Like, suddenly everyone's going to be wearing them? Like, unless someone else got them, I don't know who else it could be. And I mean, it is 4 people, which there are 4 people besides Jughead in the society, you know? So it's easy to say those are the 4 people, but like, why are you outside the community center? But then again, they are in Riverdale because Stonewall Prep and Riverdale High are going against each other, the Bulldogs versus the Stallions. So that also could explain why they would be in Riverdale, because they're there for a football game. But also at the same time, like, what is going on with this shit? Like, what are you trying to accomplish now outside the community center of all places? Like, what the fuck? Like, I'm just very curious as to see, like, what exactly is going on here. Who's behind the mask? Like, I'm just so fucking mind-boggled as who's behind these masks. Because, like, I feel like it could be, like, the Brett, Don, and the other 2. But then it's just, like, or it could be any of the people from Stonewall Prep. But, like, at the same time, it's like, but why outside the community center? It has nothing to do with Jughead. Like, and why do you have a weapon? Like, I don't understand what is going on here. Like, what, are you trying to fucking ruin Riverdale while you're here for your stay? Or did other people get this mask and now they're deciding to wear it? Did Dodger and his family really never leave and they're the ones wearing it? That's another 4 right there who could be wearing it. So it's just very interesting. Because when I saw that, I was like, what the fuck? Alright. Okay. Yeah, so like I said, Bulldogs versus Stallions. We also get to see Archie hit Brett, which, yeah. Yeah, bitch. I wonder if it's because he says something about Jughead. Because if that, I hope he does. I hope he punches him because he says something like about Jughead or something. Or Betty even. And that's why he punches him because, yeah, don't come for his friends and his soulmate. I'm just saying. Okay. It also shows someone, a guy perhaps, in a black robe with a skull on his or her lap. It looked like a guy, but I don't want to say for sure it was a guy, so I said perhaps a guy. And they're in a black robe. They have a skull on their lap. Now, the same skull, like, that looks like used in the Quill and Skull Society. Like, the black robe and the skull, it looks like from people who are in the Quill and Skull Society, you know? So that's why it makes me think it's someone in the society. And it looks like it's in the bunker. I don't know for sure, but it looks like it's in the bunker. And needless to say, they're showing someone, possibly Jughead, you know, and stuff, because that would be the person to show. But whoever this person is, they are showing on their right arm deep cuts, and you can see on their right arm, like, it's like full on deep cuts on their arm, like really deep cuts, and you can still see that some of them are still, like a few of them are fresh to the point where you can see like the blood is just drying. So like it's not even old cuts, it's like some of them are new, and you can like just see the blood start to dry, and it's like, what the fuck is going on? Like, is this a part of being in the society? Is every time you do something wrong, you get a cut? Or, because I don't really think the person who has these cuts is doing it to themselves. I think it more has to do with Stonewall and the secret society. But I don't know, you know, I gotta wait and see how the scene comes about and whether or not it's just them, the person showing them this is trying to play them or actually trying to show them this is what is really going on at Stonewall and really in the secret society. So this is why no one speaks up, because every time you do, cut, 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 cut until you're dead. That was, because that was very interesting. So yeah, Jughead is alive in this episode, obviously, because he's at the pep rally with Betty, which I am a Barchie shipper till the end of time. But with that being said, I am not going to, because I watched the trailer, and when Betty and Jughead, you know, were in the bleachers, and she was and her and Jughead, you know, were together and stuff, and she was looking out into the field and stuff, during the pep rally, and then it went to another scene, and then like it went to Archie out in the field looking up, and it's like, I know like a lot of people were like, oh my god, Betty's looking at Archie, and oh my god, we're gonna get jealous Betty, or oh my god, Betty wants to be with Archie now. And it's like, as much as the Barchie shipper I am, that's not how it was shown in the trailer. So like, I'm not one to say, oh my god, look, Betty's looking at Archie, even though we don't know if she is or not, because those aren't the scenes that matched up. We could hope. But, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, it was just Betty and Jughead in the bleachers. She was looking out into the field. It showed other parts of the episode, and then it showed Archie in the field looking up. So, like, it could be the same scene, but also it could not be the same scene. So I'll wait and see before I start posting about that. So yeah, Jughead is alive at the pep rally. This video, because it's getting super long already, and I don't want to have to make you guys watch forever. So I'm going to be making a part 2 with the questions I got asked, along with some things I found on the internet, and also some things I want to point out with Archie and Betty, and everything, you know, leading up to Jughead's death, so to speak. So I'm going to end it here, and then if you want to go watch part 2, which is focusing on, like, this is mostly like about 409, but if you want to watch my part 2, which is also going to be talking about, you know, everything leading up till now, and then the questions I got asked on Twitter, and then also some things I found and some pictures I want to show and why everything doesn't add up. So if you want to watch that, it will be on my channel, so just check it out, and yes, I will be back.